The Independent Police Investigative Directorate is set to investigate the alleged involvement of police officers in the Phala Phala farm robbery saga. Numerous reports have suggested that the alleged robbery mastermind was apprehended through favours between Namibian and South African authorities, and some may have been involved in the overall cover-up of the crime. The ATM has written to the police watchdog. We get more detail on this investigation that is set to get underway. We're joined by the IPID spokesperson, Lizzy Suping. Thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. So what is the scope of the investigation, or are there a few steps to go before we get there?
Thank you, Dudu. Yes, there are a few steps that we need to do before we can get into the full investigation. We have received a letter from the ATM, a letter of complaints, and some of the complaints do not fall squarely within our mandate in terms of Section 28.1. Therefore, we have invited the ATM party to avail themselves for an interview so that we can get a formal statement from them, but also to get more information in terms of the complaint that they want us to investigate. And if I may just share with you, in terms of the IPID Act, Section 28.1H states that we can investigate cases that are referred to us, and this can be in the form of a request from the minister, the MEC, or the Secretary of Police, or it can be as a decision that has been taken by the Executive Director of the IPID. Therefore, this interview that needs to happen between ourselves and the ATM representative is to assist us in making a determination on whether can IPID investigate this matter or not. So we still have to engage or meet with Mr. Zingula of the IPID, of the ATM party, and from there a determination will be made once that interview process has taken place.
Right. What would you need from the ATM to satisfy yourselves that this indeed does fall within the ambit of the IPID? We do understand that they're calling for an investigation into the newly appointed police commissioner as well as the former police commissioner.
Like I've explained earlier on, that in terms of Section 28.1, there are acts of misconduct that the IPID can investigate in terms of the Act. And Section 28.1H states that we can investigate cases that have been referred to us, either by a request from the minister, a request from the MEC, or the Secretary of Police, or as a result of a decision that has been taken by the Executive Director of the IPID. So if you look at that category of people that can make a request, the political parties don't fall within that scope. Hence, this interview process that has to take place between IPID and the ATM so that a determination can be made by the Executive Director of the IPID. Until we've met with the ATM representative, let me say we have to meet with the ATM representative so that a decision can be made. And we have given them dates to avail themselves for the interview. We're still awaiting confirmation from their side.
What are those dates, please?
We've got the 11th or 22nd of July.
Right. So typically, how would it work, right, especially with these allegations that the former police commissioner, as well as the current police commissioner and some other police officials need to be investigated? Typically, how would it work that you have the head of police being investigated?
In terms of the IPID Act, we investigate the police acts of misconduct done by the police. So we have to gather this information and ensure that what has been requested is something that IPID can investigate. Our mandate allows us to investigate acts of misconduct by the police.
Is this a worry for the IPID that you have these allegations that have been leveled against top cops and some of the everyday men and women in blue?
It's not a worry because our responsibility is to investigate the police, and we have to ensure that the type of investigation that we do is impartial and independent. So it's not a worry, but as a norm, we need to have the preliminary investigation, which is an interview with the complainant in this case, or a victim in other instances.
Sure. So if, as you stated, according to the IPID Act, the ministers and whoever else falls within that ambit of bringing forth a complaint for an investigation, if that doesn't come from those relevant people, then there will be no investigation.
No, I've also indicated that it can also be as a result of a decision that has been made by the IPID Executive Director. So the purpose for the interview is to get information from, or engage and get information, more information from the ATM party. And in this instance, the Executive Director of the IPID will be the one who will be able to make a determination to say whether should we go ahead and investigate.
Lizzy Suping speaks for the Independent Police Investigative Directorate. Thank you very much.